I am muted. Sorry about that. What a great start to the day. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope we're all doing well. Good afternoon. I'm sorry that I was muted. How very embarrassing. Hello from Azerbaijan. Good to see everybody. If you're just tuning in today and you're starting up, don't worry. We're doing a JavaScript bootcamp, which is completely free and you can catch up at your own pace. There's a link that my wonderful assistant will help me put up in just a second. And so please don't worry, the recordings are going up on YouTube and you are welcome to join along at your own pace. There is both a forums and a Discord. Again, the links will go up in the chat. Thank you very much. And yes, so to much of my surprise, today my doorbell rang and it was my friend Galbresh, who's also doing this JavaScript bootcamp. And some of you might have noticed the t-shirt. And yes, that is a t-shirt of me saying pat pat on the back with a little hand outline so that I can know where to do the pat pat. It was a very sweet gift and I'm extremely grateful. Completely unfortunately, it's a gift from a friend, and I can't tell you where to get that shirt because it's one of a kind. But I'm extremely grateful for that. So let's not keep you all from our learning we're going to be doing today. So let's talk about regular expressions. And let me bring up my screen real quick. Cool. So just to catch us up on where we are in the bootcamp. Some folks are writing, I just joined the JavaScript bootcamp. How can I catch up? Actually, you'll find all of the recordings up on the YouTube channel. Let me just bring that up real quick. If you enroll in the class, you'll find all of the link recordings. So don't worry, there's plenty of time to catch up and at your own pace. So now let's talk about where we are in the bootcamp so far. Now we've finished both basic JavaScript. You should have, like, ideally the homework would have been to do wall 113. I haven't done the homework yet. I need to catch up too. But and last week we finished ES6. So this week we're going to start with regular expressions. And here's my plan for today. We're going to get as far as we can in regular expressions, and the homework will be to do the rest of it, so that by tomorrow and on Wednesday, we're going to focus only on projects that apply everything that we've learned so far. And trust me, we'll be able to apply all of the skills we will have picked up by tomorrow. So let's take a look at regular expressions. I'm going to open up the first exercise. And some of you might have already heard about regular expressions. As the chat correctly says, we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. So please bring your questions to that. And also have a glass of water and stay hydrated, please. Especially if you're talking a lot into a microphone. So let's talk about regular expressions. And before we read what we're doing in the exercise, let's look at what we have in our code here. We've got 3 variables. One is called myString that has the value hello, world. The second one is called myRegex, which has these funny / signs, and inside the text, hello. And then we've got a result where we're assigning to it myRegex. So as always, what I'm going to do is console log all of the result here. So it's console.log result. So there we go. Now we see here it's printing out this funny little symbols for the /, and inside those 2 / the text hello. And what this is a regular expression. And it looks a little bit strange, and it's kind of like a string where you can put in a bunch of text, but its purpose, the way it's used, is very distinct. And what it is for, it is a piece of text that represents a pattern. Regular expressions have a lot of use in programming, especially if you're doing things like manipulating text or looking for specific patterns in data, or if you're analyzing how, for example, if you're doing some very basic analysis of how what language the text represents. It's a lot to do with like finding patterns in text. So what we're saying here with hello, as people are writing in in the chat, is just as it is, we are looking for the pattern hello, and it is strictly the pattern hello. Now, what we can do with regexes is use a function called test to see if this pattern is present in a string. So let's try test. So my regex.test, that's a function that takes one parameter, which is a string. We'll try with my string. Now let's console log result again. Now it's saying true. Let's look at what's happening. We're saying, hey, on that regex variable, let's call the function test and pass to it my string. Now you might see regex, you might see regular expression, and those are interchangeable terms. Regex is just a short way of saying regular expression, regex. So I might say regular expressions, I might say regex, it means the same thing. So what we're saying here is, hey, is this regex present in this string? Is this pattern present in this string? And here it's saying, yes, we can see that hello is present in here. So far, so good. Let's see a case where it's not. Let's say, what if we type in a pattern here that's not present? Say, hallo, the German for hello. Here we can see it's not present. What if we go hola, the Spanish for hello? Also false. But what about LLO? That is present. See, right here. With a comma, also present. With a space, present. So what we're doing here is testing that this pattern here is present inside here. Essentially saying, hey, can I find this text or this pattern? I'm going to stick very strictly to the term pattern, And as Rudo's asking here very correctly, is regex a unique data type? Yes, it's separate from a string. It's its own data type. That's why the regex will have a function available to it called test. So that's how that works. Let's take a look at our exercise now. Apply the regex, my regex, on the string, my string, using the test method. And let's just restore that to what it was before, which was hello. So we want to apply the regex onto the string, my string, using the test method. And we're doing that already in here. Let's give that a test run. And we've done it. Now I can see where I have to now. Pat, pat. Well done. Let's keep going. Now, the next thing about regexes is that they are case sensitive. So, Lindsay just asked, yes, is it case sensitive? Yes, it is indeed. So for example, let's take a look at this string here. Somewhere Waldo is hiding in this text. So if I wanted to search for this, let's just put in console.log result. What we're doing here, we've got the string, we've got this Waldo regex that just has search in it, and the result is testing for that regex inside that string, and that's returning false because search is not present. But what about Waldo? Also false. Notice what the difference. Waldo here has a capital W. Waldo here has a lowercase w. So indeed, regular expressions are case sensitive, which means that if you want to look at it properly, you have to use the uppercase W. So that's how that works. Let's look at our regular expression. Complete the regex to find Waldo in the string with a literal match. Literal meaning that each letter here is the same one as it is here. We'll get into unliteral matches later on. So let's run our tests. There we go. Pat, pat. Let's keep going. Cool. Another thing we can do with regex is, and this is where things start getting a little bit more complicated, but we'll get through this. We can use the pipe operator or the or operator to list out different possibilities for patterns in a string. So let's say, let me just comment out this pet string and define my own one. Dog. Yeah, My my string is dog with a lowercase d. Now, what I can do is search for dog. Let me just console log result. True. Now, what if I replace this with cat? This is false. Let dog string, let me define another string here. Without my semicolon. Let result 2 be equals to pet regex dot test dog string. Oh, let me just console log result 2. What am I doing here? I've got a string that says cat, I've got another string that says dog, and a regex that looks for dog. If I try to look for dog in the cat string, this will give me false, which I see here. If I try to look for dog in the string called dog, then it'll return true. How could I have a regular expression that returns true for either dog or cat? That's where the OR operator comes in. And the OR is a straight line. You'll see it here. I call it the name is called the pipe operator. I call it the straight line, however you prefer it. In my keyboard, it's shift and the tilde key, but it might be different for you. If you can't find the symbol on your keyboard, you can also just copy it from here. That's what I do sometimes. So either dog or cat, right? Check it out now. It returns true for both regexes. So it'll say, okay, look for dog or cat in this string, returns true. Look for dog or cat in this string, also returns true. Let's try something else. Bird. Still returns true because either dog or cat or bird have to be present. So that's how that works. Let's complete the regex, pet regex, to match the pets dog, cat, bird, or fish. So we're almost done here. We need to add, whoopsie, fish. Sorry, on my keyboard, it's actually above not the tilde key, but the backslash key. Again, it might depend on your keyboard layout. Kleb asks, do you always have to define the variable with regex? Not necessarily. Let me show you an example of how I wouldn't. Let's say we don't want to use that variable. Just comment that out real quick. What I can do is just function call it like this. It is its own thing, right? So we're passing in that regex and just calling test on it. Thanks for your questions. I'm going to answer more questions at the end in the Q&A. So don't worry, your questions are going to be answered. Let me just go back real quick. There we go. So here's a question. Can't we give space after pipe? Not quite, because then we're matching. Look, haha. Ooh, good question. Check it out. Why is this returning false? Because this string is just cat, but we're looking for the pattern cat with an extra space. Since that's not in the string, this one will return false. However, the pattern dog is present. So you have to be very, very clear about it. If I put the space in here, then it returns true. That's a good question. Thank you, Atharva. So this looks good. Let me clean up my code a little bit here. Remove these and restore this. So James has a pet cat, and because cat is present, this would match. In fact, let's confirm that. Console log. Oh, I deleted the line with result. Let result equals pet regex dot test pet string. So let's console log result. And there it is. Nice. Cool. Let's run our tests. There we go. Pat, 9% already. Have a little sip of water here. So folks, Class Central and myself are separate from what the kind folks at Free Code Camp are doing. You might see this pop up every now and then to ask, because they're doing nonprofit, volunteer, open source work. If you've got the money and you can and you want to, I would recommend donating to them because they are very kind folks. So let's continue. And now as I said before, regexes are case sensitive, but we can actually tell them to be case insensitive. And this is using something called a flag. Let me show you what I mean in just a sec. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a string called free code camp. We've got a regex with the value chain with a pattern chain, and result, which is fcc regex.test my string. Let's console log that. Result. My master correctly says staying hydrated is half the process. Absolutely. Cool. So this is giving me false because the pattern change is not in free code camp. But let's case insensitively write code camp. This is going to return false because this is all lowercase and this one has the camel case camel humps. What you can do with flags is tell it, hey, do the matching, but without case sensitivity. That's where the I comes in. So after the forward slash, add in this I. And this I will tell the regex, hey, match, but without case sensitivity. So now, let me have some more strings here. Let my other string be called free code camp in all caps. And let's see, my other string will also match it correctly. And of course, the same goes for it being all lowercase. So again, with the I flag, we can make this match any case, regardless of whether the string is in upper or lower case. So I hope that makes sense. Let's put it was. So write a regex fcc regex to match free code camp no matter its case. Your regex should not match any abbreviations or variations with spaces, which it does not. So I think with our I flag, we are good to go. Let's run the tests. And there we go. Pat, pat. Let's continue on to the next one. So now we've been able to test whether a pattern matches. But what we can also do with regexes is extract that match. Say, hey, give me that match. And that's where the match function comes in. Now there's a bit of a difference here. Let me get to the exercise here first, or the code here. We've got a string called extract string, which has a value extract the word coding from this string. Here's our coding regex, and here's our result. So let me console log the result, which at the moment should be extract the word coding from the string. Now, what we can do is on the string. So unlike test, match is called on the string. And we'll pass in the regex. So again, test would pass in, test is called on the regex and we pass the string. Match is called on the string and we pass in the regex. I don't know why this is the case. It is. That's just the way it is. It would be good to know why, though. Maybe we can investigate that on office hours or something. Anyway, so let's make this regex match the word coding. And all I got to do is write the word coding. Now, here we can see we do indeed get that word coding as a match. So, here we can see string.match regex, regex.test string. So remember, match is for string, test is for regex. And I'm going to tell you this right away in case you're worried. I forget this all the time. It's just something that you occasionally bump over, and that's totally fine. We're not machines that memorize things. We just understand concepts and reproduce them. Cool. So let's apply the match method to extract the string coding, which we did. There we go. There it is extracted. Let's run our tests. There we go. Pat, pat. Let's submit and go to the next challenge. Now, we can match on a string, but we can also match more than once on a string. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say we want to, let me just resize my windows here real quick, just so that I can see the chat in case I mute myself or something again. So we've got our string twinkle star, which is twinkle, twinkle, little star. We've got our regex that is currently just change, and we want to match the result here. So let's call twinkle star.match and star regex. That'll extract all, and I think we want to extract the word tinkle. So let's console log result. Currently null because change does not match in this string. So let's first change that to be twinkle. And there we can see, there it is, what index of the string it's at, the input, and the groups. We don't have any groups. More on groups later. Again, this is one of those things that we can just sort of start understanding, and our understanding will build as we go. So let's change this a little bit here. Let me just move my window. Okay, so using the regex star regex, find and extract both twinkle words from the string twinkle star. So the way regexes work is that they will only match the first one. So if we want to match both, the first thing we need to do is recognize that this has a capital T and this has a lowercase t. So what do? Well, we want this to be case insensitive. So first we do the I. Now we're matching the first twinkle, which is good. But again, we want to match both instances of twinkle. So this is where another flag comes in. And this is the G, or global flag. So put it there. Now we've got both instances of twinkle. If we just remove the case insensitive one, it'll only match the first one. Sorry, the second one, sorry. The second twinkle, because it's case insensitive. If I remove the G entirely, I actually don't know why it's printing out, it's giving me this data here. The index, by the way, is the occurrence. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the position where the pattern is matched. Again, G lets us find more than one, and I makes it case insensitive. So with that, we've matched both instances of twinkle in this string. Hope that makes sense. And Magali, thank you very much. The order of the flags does not matter. Very well said. Thank you very much. So let's run our tests. There we go. Pat, pat. Let's keep going. Doing great. Okay. Now comes our first symbol inside a pattern. See, until now, we've been matching patterns that are strictly matching letters. But actually, where regular expressions get super powerful and occasionally a little bit confusing is that we can match lots of different types of things. I'm going to answer one quick question from Atharva. Why does it return an array? Match returns an array to contain all of the matches of that string. So, sorry, of that pattern. Since twinkle appeared twice in that string, it returned an array of each match. That's why it was size 2. There were 2 instances of that array, of that pattern inside the string. Cool. I hope that makes sense. Now, let's talk about wildcards. Because right now, let's see what we got. We got a string that says, let's have fun with regular expressions. We've got a regex called change, and we're testing that the pattern change is inside this example string. Let's console log that. Console log result. It's going to give us false because the word change, the pattern change, doesn't appear in this string. Now, we can confirm, for example, that fun. Let's go with have. The pattern have does appear. But what about this? This is also true. This is because we're matching that there's an H, there's an A, there's a V, and after the V, there's this. And that doesn't mean it's a full stop. We're saying, hey, match any character, any character, any character. That character you're thinking of? Yeah, that one too. So yes, we are matching that there is H, A, and V followed by any character. It just so happens that we know what that character is because we can see it here. It's the E. But again, that can be any character. So for example, let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4. What we're telling here to the string is, to the regex is, match the fact that there are 4 characters in this string. Sorry, 4 of any character. And we know that there are 4 of any character because there are, I'm gonna console log that. There are example str.length 40 characters. So there are 40 characters in this string. So we know that there are bound to be 4 of any character next to each other. But what if there isn't? Let's reduce this to 3 characters. This is now false because the regex is saying there should be 4 of any character inside the string, but there's only 3. So this regex won't match. This one will because there are 3. This one will because there are 2. This one will because there is at least 1 of any character in that string. It's a bit of a doozy, but the more we do it, the better we'll get used to it. So let's see what our exercise is. Let's complete the regex unregex so that it matches the strings run, sun. I got to move my window a little bit there. Fun, pun, none, and bun. So your regex should use a wildcard character. So what we can do is say match any character followed by UN. That way it'll match run and we can test it because we can see that fun works. If I remove it, it also works because there's a white space there. It'll work with run. It'll work with sun. It'll work with pun. It'll work with none. It'll work with bun. So this works with any character. So that's that regex. I think we've done our exercise correctly. Let's run the tests. And there we go. Pat, pat. Let's keep going. So, what if we want to match any of one character of a series of patterns inside? Let's get to it. And yes, folks, we're covering a lot today, but don't worry, there's going to be a Q&A session at the end. So stay tuned for that because I know we're going to have lots of questions. So let's take a look at our string here. Beware of bugs in the above code. I have only proved it correct, not tried it. And yes, these recordings will stay up on YouTube, so you can rewatch these at any time. So we'll have our vowel regex, which has the word change in it, and result will be vowel regex. So before we look into what we're going to be doing, what we'll be learning in this exercise, let's see what the exercise wants us to do. Use a character class with vowels A, E, I, O, or U in your regex, vowel regex, to find all vowels in the string quote sample. So the way this works is that we want to, to find all the vowels. We want to find all the vowels in this string quote sample. Now, this is where things get a little bit more complicated because we want to match either A, and one thing we could do is do A with this E, I, O, U. This totally works. In fact, let's test it first. Quote sample. Let's console log result. True. There is at least one vowel in this. But what if we wanted to match all vowels? We would then need to use the match syntax. So for that, we need to change this around a little bit. We need to quote sample.match the vowel regex and then match all of them. However, we're only getting the first one. It's because this is not a global one. So we need the G. With the global, it'll give us all of the vowels. But we're not quite there yet, are we? because I see here a capital I. So we actually need this to be both global and case insensitive. Let's take a look, see. There's the I. Ah, what a good question. Isn't there an and operator? I don't know, but I don't think it works in an and way because a character can't be both A and E and I and O and U because a character can only be one of those. I hope that makes sense. So, how do we do this with what we want here? We want to use the bracket syntax for conditionals. So what we can do is use square brackets, and then go A, E, I, O, U. And this is the same as before, except we're saying, hey, match any of these. It's the same as the OR operator, but a little bit, in this context, it's very similar to the OR operator, but a little bit more condensed. So match any of either of these. That's how we match all of the vowels in that string, and in an case insensitive matters, because we see here in the note, be sure to match both upper and lowercase vowels. Whew. How's it looking? Did we pass? Yes, we did. Pat. Cool. Let's keep going. Match letters of the alphabet. So, match all of the letters in the string, quote, sample. Be sure to match both uppercase and lowercase letters. So let's see. The quick... Oh, Kaiga asked a good question. Where will we end up using this? You will be using this in lots of contexts where you'll need to find patterns in strings, in texts. For example, making sure that an email address is an email address. How would you match that? You would make sure that there's an @ sign, that there's a something dot something, this sort of thing. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but this is where regular expression, this is an example of where we could use regular expressions. Making sure that a phone number is a form of a phone number, for example. Of course, the phone numbers are formatted differently in different countries. There's lots of contexts where we actually do use regular expressions. So I highly recommend getting getting acquainted with them. And I've got a game that I'm going to recommend at the end of this to help you with that. Anyway, so we got the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And we've got a regex here called alphabet regex, and we need we've got a result. Let's console log that result. Oh, we're printing out that regex, which is chain. So we want to match all of the letters in the string, quote, samples. Cool, can do. What we are learning here is that with the square brackets, we can also say, hey, give me any character inside this range. So from A to Z. So we're saying, hey, match any character that's between A and Z. That's one part. The next part is, well, actually, let's match that because we want to match all of the letters in the string, quote, sample. So that would be, quote, sample dot match, and pass it the regex. Remember, with match, we call it on the string. Aha! Now check this out. The first thing we notice is that the first match is the letter H. And I assume that's we can see it, index 1. So it's the second character. That's because the first one wasn't matched in here because A to Z does not contain the capital letters. So first thing we do, make it case insensitive with the I. Now it's matching the T because it's matching in case insensitively every character between A and Z. So that's done. Next, we need to match more than just the first one. So that's the global match, or the G flag. Now, let's look at our match here. I'm going to make this a bit bigger. The quick brown fox jumps. Oh, this is hard to read. Over the lazy dog. The reason we need the G, by the way, is to match all of the instances of A to Z, of any character between A to Z. So notice that it's not matching the spaces or the full stop. And that's because we don't want to. we just want to match the letters. If we wanted to match any of them, we could just use a full stop. With a full stop, we can say the space, quick space, and so on and so forth. But we want to match just the letters. So A to Z. That's how that's done. Let's check our tests. Yep. Pat. Let's keep going. Now we want to match either numbers. We want to match numbers and letters. So what we can do, let's take a look. Blueberry, we've got a string called blueberry. I'm guessing this is, it's pies. 3.141592653. That's pi. So blueberry pies, the number, oh, that's cute. I love that. Are delicious. So blueberry pies are delicious. So we want to match, what do we want to do here? Create a single regex that matches a range of letters between H and S and a range of numbers, between 2 and 6. Remember to include the appropriate flags in the regex. So let's do that. First, let's console log our result. And the first thing we want to do is match. So we want to quote sample match and pass to it the regex. That's giving us null. Now, let's use our square brackets to do first the letters. Let's do A to Z. Oh, no, sorry. It's between H and S. So H and S. First one it's matching is the letter L, found in index 1, which is between H and S. And we want to match a range of numbers between 2 and 6. And again, because this is the square brackets, it can be either between H and S or between 2 and 6. So by doing this, we're matching any character between H and S or any character between 2 and 6. Now, it's still matching only 1, and that's because it's not global. So we'll make that global first. Blueberry 3, 4, 2, 6, 5, 3, S, L, I, Srios, something like that. And just in case, let's make this case insensitive. So with this, we're matching anything between H and S and 2 and 6. So that's done, I believe. Let's run our tests. Yep. Pat. All right. Doing good. Match single characters not specified. Ooh, now things get a little bit more powerful. So let's create a single regex that matches all of the characters that are not a number nor a vowel. Remember to include all appropriate flags in the regex. So let's see, we got 3 blind mice with a full stop. And we want to match. So we'll do quote sample dot match. Let's console log the result, and that'll give us null most likely because change is not present here. So again, we want to match everything that is not a number or a vowel. And that's going to be semi-similar to what we're used to. So we'll want let's first match vowels and numbers. So that would be A, E, I, O, U, and 0 to 9. We need this to be global, so that'll be a G. And we need this to be case insensitive, so it'll be an I. So these are all the numbers and vowels that are present in this string. Now, with just one character at the beginning of this square bracket, we're going to change it to be match these characters. We're going to change it from that to match anything that is not these characters. And that is done with, I can find it. I'm sorry, folks. Oh no, I can't find that character on my keyboard. How embarrassing. Where are you? I'm just going to copy paste it. You'll usually find it above your number 6. In the English keyboard, at least. So, actually, do I have my keyboard layout here? I do. This is what my keyboard looks like in case anybody's curious. So let's see. For me, that character is above, it's above the tilde. So I just want to try that just for curiosity. There it is. So now we're matching everything that is not either of these characters. So if the character is not an E or not an E or not an I, nor a U, nor an O, nor between 0 and 9, then it's going to match it. So we get the space, we skip the 3, we get the B, the L, the N, the D, the space, the M, the C, and the dot. This character, I don't know if I mentioned, is called a caret. Pronounced similar to carrot, but different word. So let's see if that matches. Let's run our tests. There we go. Pat, pat. Let's move on. Let's match characters that occur one or more times. So let's first take a look at what we want to do here. You want to find matches when the letter S occurs one or more times in Mississippi. Write a regex that uses the plus sign. So let's console log that. Result. Here what we got. We got difficult spelling is equals to Mississippi. We've got a regex with change in it, and we're matching the regex on that string. So we want to find one that matches when the letter S occurs one or more times. So every time the letter S occurs once or more. So one way we can do that is with the letter S, and it occurs in the second index, 0, 1, 2. That makes sense. We want to make this global, and we want to make this, let's make it case insensitive. So this isn't quite what we want. What we want is every time it occurs once or more. So what we actually want is S plus. Notice the difference. Here we're saying, okay, we've matched it once or more. So this is matching to say, hey, find me an S that occurs once or more times. And if it occurs once or more times, we match it. So every time the S appears once or more, that's a match. Again, this is for every time the S shows up, but with the plus, that goes for every time it shows up to every time it shows up once or more. It's a bit weird. So, somebody made a good point. What if we make this Mississippi, and then instead of P, we'll go with a bunch of S's. It matched the first double S, the second double S, and that last time where I used like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 S's. Again, this is S plus. We're saying it happens once or more. So I hope that makes sense. Now I've resorted to Mississippi, and it only says S. Ashley asks, how will this data be aggregated in a real-life scenario? Like I said before, we can use this, for example, to make sure that an email address is valid. This is, I believe, how browsers do it. If browser will check if using a regular expression that an email address that you entered is valid, and if not, it'll say, hey, this string you entered, not valid. Hope that helps. Nikki asks, what happens if it's plus S? I believe it'll give us an error. Let's give it a try. Invalid regular expression, nothing to repeat. So we're saying one or more of the previous character. Because there's no previous character here, there's nothing to repeat. So that's how it should work. Hope that helps. Ravi asks a question. What if JavaScript is disabled? Well, if JavaScript is disabled, then we're not using regexes, I suppose. Richard asks, how about we combine S, SS, and PP? Okay, let's do that. So let's do S plus and P plus. Believe that nope, that's not correct. So, I know. we'll use the OR operator. Oh, that's also not right. Now, this is, see, even I get stumped with regular expressions all the time. Let's try Carlos's proposal, S plus and P plus. Oop. What if we did it like this with the OR operator? There it is. Okay, so it's with the OR operator. So S plus or P plus. Whew. Thank you, Paula Reyes 13. That's how you do it. Hey, this stuff is a little bit confusing. What I love about regular expressions and this sort of thing, it just gets a little bit finicky, and you can play around with it and make sure it works. I will show you lots of tools to be able to play around with regular expressions, and I use these all the time. So, what was our exercise again? Oh yeah, S plus. So, run the tests. Hopefully. Yep. Pat. Phew. Good questions, everybody. Now, what if we wanted to have matching characters that occur 0 or more times? This is different from 1 or more times. So the plus denotes 1 or more times. With 0 or more times, this is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, folks, I'm happy to answer all your questions. Just want to make sure we get as far as we can by the time we're out of time today, and then we'll do some Q&A. So, similar to the plus, we can use the asterisk to match 0 or more of a character. Let's give that a try. Before we do any exercises and stuff like that, let's make a, see, we're doing Chewy quote dot match Chewy regex. So let's let Chewy quote be equals to, now if this is meaning to be Chewbacca from Star Wars, I'm guessing it's going to be arg, something like that. Now, what if we wanted to match 0 or more instances of the letter A? 0 or more. Let's give this, first of all, we would need this to be A because we want to match that letter A. Ooh, forgot to console log result. So that's matching 1A at position 1. That's because this isn't case sensitive yet, so we need to make it case sensitive. There we go. Now it's case sensitive, which means it matches the first one. Perfect. Then we need to make this global so it matches all of them. Now we want to match 0 or more instances of the letter A, and that's where the star character comes in. Now let's take a look at what's happening here. It's making several matches. Let's take a look at why. First, it made one match for 0 or more. Fantastic. Then it made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more matches that are empty. These are empty matches because it looked at the letter R and said, is there 0 or more A's here? Yes, there is, because there are 0 A's. Then it looked at the next one and said, are there 0 more A's? Yep. 0 more A's? Yep. 0 or more A's? Yep. 0 or more A's? Yes. So for this challenge, Chewy quote has been initialized as the string. Oh, it's already been initialized. My bad. So create a regex Chewy regex that uses the star character to match an uppercase character immediately followed by 0 or more lowercase a characters. So there's a couple of things that are different here. First of all, we want to match an uppercase A and then 0 or more lowercase a's. So actually, this should not be case insensitive. Next, we should match that lowercase a. That uppercase A. Now, let's see what's happening here. What we're doing is, wait, your regex does not need flags or character classes, so no flags. There we go. So we give it the string arg, and we're matching one uppercase A followed by 0 or more lowercase a's. Let's try this with a different string, just to be on the safe side. Let Chewy string equals arg. Notice, Chewy Chewy quote, not Chewy string. I forgot to have some. Now, this one matched because it has one uppercase A at the beginning and 0 or more lowercase a's. So no matter how many a's we tack on here, it'll always match because that's how Chewbacca screams, I suppose. So your regex does not need flags or character classes, and it should not match any of the other quotes, which it doesn't. Let's leave that as it is. It matches ah in the string arg. What a fun thing to read. Let's run our tests. And there we go. Pat, pat. Now, we're going to find characters with lazy matching. Before we do any of these exercises, let me just create my own regex. Let text equals I like to sing. And let my regex equals 0 or more of any character. And we will console log that result. So this regex looked for 0 or more of any character. So it matched the entire string. Good. What if we wanted to match all characters songs? I like to sing songs. You'll see why I'm doing it this way in just a moment. What if I wanted to match all of the characters between 2 letter S's? So I would do S, a bunch of characters, and then S. So this would match a pattern of everything. Is there no sound? Sorry. Juan says there's no sound. Can everybody hear me? If my assistant could please let me know if they can hear me. You can hear me. Okay, great. Maybe it got muted somehow. Sorry about that. Right. So this is matching everything between S and S, which is good. But what if I wanted to match everything actually between the second S? This is because it's doing something called greedy matching. It's trying to do as much as it can. It's trying to match as much as it can between those two. It's saying, what's the longest I can match? Because one matches songs and another one is sing songs. These are 2 potential matches for S, a bunch of characters, and S. This is one and this is another. And this is the longer one, which is called the greedy one. So what if we wanted to make this lazy? That's where the question mark comes in. Now it's matching one I did not expect. It's saying, just match the first one you find, which is sing S. So this is the lazy variant. This is without the question mark. This is the greedy variant. This is greedy. With the question mark, this becomes lazy. As Facundo correctly said, another one is sing S, and that is indeed the lazy match. Thank you very much. Cool. So that's how that works. What is it that we want to do? Fix the regex to return the HTML tag H1 and not the text H1 winter is coming H1. Remember the wildcard dot in a regular expression matches any character. So let's take a look at our puzzle now. So we've got text, which is an H1 tag from HTML saying winter is coming, and then here. And what I've got a regex here that says match anything between these 2 tag signs greedily. So it's making the biggest one it can do. Everything between the opening H1 here and the opening tag here and the closing tag here. But what if we want to match just this? This is where the lazy matching comes in. All we got to do is give it that question mark. And now it's matching lazily, just being like, just take that first one. It's fine. That's what I kind of like to think about it. Yeah, just take that. Take the first one. You're fine. It's fine. Make it a small string. So that's how that works, right? So with the question mark, we're saying be lazy. But I believe this works with the plus side as well. Yes, it does. Cool. So yeah, be lazy about how many characters you match. So that way we match just that tag. Again, if we remove the question mark, it matches the whole thing because it's greedy. It's like, give me as much as you can. This is lazy. Cool. Let's run our tests. Awesome. Pat, pat. Now we've got an exercise. A puzzle. So we want to, let's see, a group of criminals escaped from jail and ran away, but you don't know how many. However, you do know that they stay close together when they are around other people. You are responsible for finding all the criminals at once. Here's an example of how to review this. The regex Z plus matches the letter Z when it appears one or more times in a row. It would find matches in all of the following strings. This one, this one, this one, this one, or this one. But it does not find matches in the following strings since there are no letter Z characters. Makes sense? Write a greedy regex that finds one or more criminals within a group of other people. A criminal is represented by the capital letter C. Let's give it a try. Let group of people, and we're going to go A, B, F, G, B. There's a criminal. 2 criminals. 3 criminals. So we want to let result equals group of people dot match criminals. So log result. So we want to find not any character, but just a C. So we want to put 1 or more criminals. So that would be C plus. I found our first criminal at position 7, which is almost good, but we want to find more than one group of criminals. So we'll do that with the letter G for global. So we found the first group of criminals, which is just one criminal, the group of 2 criminals, and the group of 3 criminals next to each other. And that's it. I believe we've done it. Let's run our test since just need this. Cool. So we just need C and plus. Let's give it a try. Hey, nice. Pat, pat. All right. I got time for one more before going into the rest. Okay. So match the beginning string. Ooh. I like this one. So let's say we've got a string here called Ricky and Cal. Cal and Ricky both like racing. And what do we want to do here? Use a caret character in a regex to find Cal only in the beginning of the string Ricky and Cal. Okay. So let's console log results. This should give us a false because change is not in there. And we want to match Cal. Now, we want to match that Cal is in the string. Let's move this a little bit. What if we say Ricky and Cal? This still matches true, but we want to use the caret character to find in a regex to find Cal only in the beginning of the string Ricky and Cal. And we can do that saying, hey, match this, but only if it's at the beginning. See, now it's Ricky and Cal both like racing. We're matching, hey, does the string start with CAL? Since it does not, that's false. Now, why, you might be wondering, why do we use a caret here? Why does this not mean not? And that's because it's not within brackets. So within the square brackets, this means match anything that's not Cal. That works. But if we remove the brackets, the caret takes on a different meaning. It goes on to mean match this if it's at the beginning. So again, if it's outside the square brackets, it means match it outside. Do not match anything that does not fit this pattern. I'm confusing myself as I talk. Inside the square brackets, we're saying match anything that's not this pattern. Outside the brackets, we're saying match this only if it starts if the string starts with this pattern. So let's give that a try. Right now it's false, but if we restore it to Cal and Ricky, now it's true. because the string starts with cal. Hope that makes sense. Let's run the tests. And there we go. Pat, we are done. Now, the next exercise is going to be match ending string, which is the same thing as the previous exercise, but making sure they match at the end. For that, you're going to use the $sign. But folks, we are out of time for today. So I just want to say a couple things before we go into Q&A. First of all, let's take a look at homework. Tomorrow we'll be doing the palindrome checker project. So we're going to be doing our first project. I'm so excited. Your homework by then is to do the rest of regular expressions. So please go as far as you can. Make sure to, hey, first of all, ask questions either in the forum or on the Discord. You can find the Discord and you can enroll for the bootcamp here in classcentral.com. Here's the link to the forum. So if you go to group.classcentral.com, there you'll find both the forum and the link to the Discord. Ask questions. If you know the answer to these questions, answer them. It's a great way to learn. And yes, it's a lot of homework, but I believe in you. Like, we already got through so much today. So finish regular expressions. Tomorrow we're going to start with a little bit of knowledge from the rest of these exercises. So I recommend getting as far as you can. Yep. Next, I want to recommend a game to learn regular expressions. And that's called regex crossword. I recommended it in the Saturday social, but here it is just in case. So first of all, it goes in the chat. There it is. I posted it just in the YouTube. Here it is in the Twitch. So, regexcrossword.com. Let me hop on this real quick, regexcrossword.com, and show you a little bit about how it works. Make it bigger. What this is a game to teach you how to use regular expressions. Let me show you an example. Let's click on play. So let me make it a little bit bigger. I realize it's a bit slow. So we want to put in this square a symbol that would match a string that would match both of these regexes. This regex is A or Z, and this regex is A or B. So we want a string here that matches both of those regexes. That would be the letter A. Letter A matches this regex, and it matches that regex. Next puzzle coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now, and again, ranges of characters. We want a regex that matches ABC, we want a string that matches ABC and a string that matches BDF. One that I would recommend, the letter B. Now, I'm not going to give you all the answers, so I'll stop here. But this is a fun way to understand how to apply those regular expressions. I find it super fun. Can highly recommend it. I'm just going to go back. So again, homework is to finish the regular expressions. Why is my progress gone? Maybe I need to refresh, huh? There it is. Yeah. Cool. So finish the regular expressions. And again, tomorrow we'll start with the palindrome checker. So that's enough of me blabbering on. Let's do some questions. I think I saw a question up above. Juan says, how do we say not cal at the beginning? Oh. Huh. Let's try it out. I'm not sure. Let's go to beginning string patterns. So Cal and Ricky both like racing. So we want this regex to pass if the if the pattern does not start with Cal. So if the pattern does not start with Cal, if we want it to work, we want it to start with Cal. Oopsie. Where's my carrot? So true, it starts with Cal, but we want it to match to say not Cal at the beginning, I believe. How could I do that? I guess. Huh. Juan, I think you've stumped me. Ah, Juan's got the solution. That it starts with not Cal. That actually makes a lot of sense. Let's give it a try. So let's start with, then in here, not Cal. It's false because it starts with, because this should pass if it does not start with Cal. Let's change this to cat. Wait a minute. This is also false. Oh. I think this is going to have to be something we come back to. But thank you for the question, Juan. You've completely stumped me. I do need to answer everybody's question. So let's come back to this. If you find the solution, please post it in the forums or the Discord. Yeah. Where can I access these exercises? You can find these in Free Code Camp. If you go to freecodecamp.org, you can follow along with these exercises. This will also allow you to do the projects and get yourself a certificate of qualification. So let's see. Jolene asks, I'm confused with 0 or more. Does that just give your pattern the possibility of having something in it? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So for example, 0 or more characters. This match is true because there are indeed 0 or more characters here. If this is an empty string, it also matches. But why would we want to use that? Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. And we want to match everything between 1 and 1. This will match a pattern that starts with a 1, a pattern that starts with a 1, has 0 or more characters between them, and ends with a 1. So if there's 1 character between the two, that's true. If there's 0 characters between the two ones, that's also true because there's 0 or more. But if there's at least 1 character, that'll be false. That clears things up. Lindsay asks, do front-end developers use regular expressions? Yes, I think for doing things like validation of inputs, like I've been talking before. For example, making sure that an email address is valid, making sure that the data, let's say that you get some data from the back end, right? And you need to make sure that this data is valid. Make sure that, for example, make sure that for example, that maybe not getting data, but making sure, for example, that a password has 8 or more characters. Things like that. Hope that helps. How would you go about finding, let's say, all verbs in a text? Well, I would need all of the verbs. So let me refresh this real quick. Cal and Ricky both like racing. There's one verb in here, which is like, that we can go with. I would just need the other one, the other verbs. Dislike, or hate, or love, or go, or start. So this is one way to match all verbs in. You would just need a list of all verbs, which is a lot of verbs. Brian asks, could you explain again? Could you explain lazy matching again? Yes, totally. Let's do that again. Let's go with my previous pattern. 1, 1, and another one. So let's say we want to match all of the characters between the first 2 ones. There's a 1 here, there's a 1 here, there's a 1 here. So we want to match 1 and all of the characters between the other one. And instead of testing this, we're going to match it. So Ricky and Cal.match, Cal regex, console log result. So this is a greedy match because it's looked for the biggest match it could make. Everything between this one and this one. But what if we wanted to match only the first two? That's where lazy matching comes in. And all we got to do is give the asterisk a question mark. Then it's just going to be like, just take the first match you can find. The smallest one is fine. That's where it just matches between the first two instances of the number 1. Hope that helps. Magali asks, can we use the $sign somewhere else in the regex instead of at the $sign? Do you mean instead of at the end? I think what you're asking is, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you asking how can we match, for example, a full stop if a full stop means any character? This is, I believe, where we can use escaping. I need to match this dot, right? I need to match this dot. We want to match the full stop there. Now, you might think we need to do this with this. That matches the I because it's matching any character. But what if we wanted to match the full stop? That's where escaping comes in. If you remember from 2 weeks ago, we did escaping. That's with the backslash. That's not a backslash. That's a backslash. Backslash says, hey, this next thing, it's not the wild card for any character. It's a full stop. We're escaping it to not treat it as a wild card for any character, but strictly as a full stop. We're escaping it. Hope that helps. Oh, Carlos, let's try this. Okay, let's give it a try. So there we go. Cal. I don't know what we don't. I believe you'll find out later on what the brackets do. So that's console log result. This is true, but we want this to not start with Cal. Nope, also true. I don't think this is the solution. Let's see. Oh, Marcellus asks, can you explain the pattern A to Z or 0 to 5, 8? I've seen it in a password input field in an HTML tag. Good question. You are going to cover it in the homework, but we'll do it together. So what this regex does, let's see. A to Z, 0 to 5. So what we're doing here is matching any character between A to Z and 0 to 5. So we need to find at least one character here that is between A and Z and 0 and 5, or 0 and 5. Now, what's this here after that? This 8. Let's try it out. And we're going to do that by matching. Cal regex match. No, it's not the cal regex. It's the Ricky and Cal. Ricky and Cal dot match cal regex. That's matching the A. Let's see what this curly bracket with an 8 and a comma does. Oh, there we go. Oh, I don't know what the comma does. Oh. Right. It's matching at least 8 characters in a row that are A to Z or 0 to 5. And we can try that out by just concatenating a bunch of them together. See? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me remove the comma. Yes. So with just the 8, it's saying, hey, find me 8 characters in a row that match this. So Alandric, which sounds kind of mysterious. Alandric. So that's matching Alandric, and that's A to Z or 0 to 5 8 times. With the comma, we're saying, hey, make it at least 8 times, 8 instances of that character. Cool. So, yeah, we answered that question. Let's see. Saravana asks, what does the group undefined mean? Groups are something that you're going to cover in the homework, and I'll show you what it means. What we can do, let's match Alandric, right? What we can do with the brackets, with the smooth brackets, is capture. Don't no. You know what? I don't know. I thought I did. I was hoping that the groups would match everything that's inside the brackets. Um, let's let's find out. So match MDN. I'm gonna go on MDN and find out. I hope everybody can the size. I hope the size is okay. So let's read down where it says, aha. An array whose contents depend, G flag, whose contents depends on the presence or absence of the global G flag, or null if no matches are found. If the G flag is found, all results matching the complete regular expression will be returned, but capturing groups will not. If the G flag is not used, only the first complete match and its related capturing groups are returned. In this case, the returned item will have additional properties as described below. And here we can see an objects of name capturing groups whose keys are the names and values are the capturing groups or undefined. If no naming capturing groups were defined, see groups and ranges for more information. So we can kind of go down a rabbit hole. And I was hoping that that's where the brackets would come in. But again, groups and ranges will be covered in the homework. So don't worry yet as to what the groups are. Cool. Ida asks, how can we specify if we want a pattern to be at least 2 characters or more, or 3 characters or more, etc.? Let me go back and let's do just that. If we want a pattern, we can use, so we can use the 2 dots to, oops, let me console log. Result. So what we can do is, of course, specify that there's 2 characters. That we can do. But what if we wanted to have 2 plus? That would be 2 or more. But we want it to be 2 of the same character, right? So we could do like AA plus. Then we would need there to be, let me just make sure that it works. Cal works, and let's match that just to make sure that we're matching the correct thing. Cal regex, nope. Ricky and cal.match. Cal regex. So we're matching the 2 A's. Are we matching the 3? Are we matching the 4? Are we matching 1? No, because it needs to be 1 and at least 1 or more. Another way to do that, which you saw in the last question, was with this. For example, 2. Let's see. Cool. But what if we want it to be 2 or more? That's where the comma comes in. This will be covered in the homework, I hope. There we go. Hope that helps. So we got a question here. What happens if you want to define a range of the whole alphabet that doesn't use Romance letters? That is a good question that I don't know the answer to off the top of my head. Regex range non-Roman characters. Good question. It would appear. Haha, I'm getting an answer from Stack Overflow, so bear with me. Let me just. How do I get a link to an answer? Sorry, folks. There we go. So no idea if this is correct. Again, it's one of those things that you're gonna have to try. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. So apparently we can do it with this. And what these are Unicode or ASCII. It matches any character which is not. Yes. It matches any character which is not contained in the ASCII character set. The ASCII is the Roman characters. So you can do the same thing with Unicode. So we can use this special character symbol and then these 4 numbers to signify all of the characters that are not Romance. Oh, sorry. Yeah, these are the Romance letters, and we want to specify that it's not any of the Romance characters. Cool. Good question. Legend asks, today's homework, finish regular expressions. So let me just go back. I think it's here. We just scroll down to regular expressions. Yes, today's homework is to do the rest of the regular expressions exercises. Let's see what else we got. I love that folks are proposing solutions. I encourage you folks to try these out from the chat and see which ones would work. Ooh, here's an interesting sharing from Carlos. For example, to extract the United States area code from a phone number, we could use this regular expression. Now let's take a quick look at it. We've got a bracket, an escaped bracket, and then the area code followed by 3 digits. Again, the homework will tell you what these all are. Facundo, thank you very much. So let's see. Caret and Cal to negate starts with Cal. Let's give it a try. Could you also please explain why that is? If you don't mind. Let's give it a try. So that is okay, question mark, exclamation mark, Cal. Let's console log. This should return false. This should print out false if it's correct because the string starts with Cal. But what if we make it cat? And it's true. Thank you very much. There are more information before that message. Thank you very much, Carlos. Yes, I see here. Juan, thank you. I love that this is turning into a group effort to figure out. But so the thing is that a lot of the time you're going to be, trying different stuff out with regexes, and it's going to bump you sometimes along the way. And some of the times you're just going to have to look into special characters, special patterns. A lot of the time folks have, been there. A lot of the times things that you're doing with regexes, folks have tried to do them before. So maybe doing a quick search in your favorite search engine will help you find those answers. Cool. Please keep those questions coming. We've got about 5 or so minutes time. I'm going to find another tool. This one won't do. JavaScript regex tester. Let's see if there's one. No. If anybody knows of a good tool for testing regular expressions, honestly, what I do a lot of the time is I'll just open up my dev tools. You can do that by right-clicking and going on inspect if you're on Chrome. Let me reshare my screen. Let me reshare my screen real quick so you can see what I mean. So stop screen. Hello. Share screen again, and I'm going to share the window instead of the. Yeah, cool. Let me show you something awesome. What you can do is right click, go on inspect, and that'll open up the dev tools of your browser. They look kind of big on my end. Sorry about that. I don't actually know how to make them. Let me just see if I can. Sorry, don't know how to make them bigger. But yeah, if you right click and go on inspect in Chrome, for example, what you can do is go on console, and here you can just write in any JavaScript you want, just for testing. Again, be very careful not to paste in anything that you get off the internet. It could be dangerous. So, but if you want to play around with regexes, I totally use this sometimes for just as a playground for messing around. So that's something I would recommend. Cool. What other questions we got? Kleb asks, is regex another way to use instead of if-else checks? Yes and no. What you're doing with regexes is either checking that a string appears in a pattern appears in a string, or extracting the matches of that pattern in the string. For example, let's say I wanted to grab all of the vowels from this string up above. What instead of using test, which yes, regex test is kind of returning a Boolean. Ricky and Cal dot match. Cal regex. Let's make this a global one. Let's say we wanted to match all of the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. That'll give me all of the vowels that are in this sentence. So that's not quite a way of using it instead of instead of using if-else statements. And folks are recommending regex 101 as a good alternative for playing around with regular expressions. So thank you, everybody. regex101.com. Thank you all very much for that recommendation. Leandro says, this doesn't work properly as if the string call and Ricky, it's still returning false. Let's give it a try. I think you're meaning to the solution that it doesn't start with Cal. So let me just bring it back and let me show you what I mean. So start, oopsie, look at it again. Okay. So yeah, there. Yeah, Cal. And we want this to match, to test instead of match. So call cal regex.test Ricky and Cal. So this is false because it starts with Cal. This is true because it starts with cat. But what you're saying, Leandro, is that it doesn't work properly because if it starts with call and Ricky, it's still returning false. But this is false and this is false. But remember, what are we doing with regexes? We're saying we're matching that the string does not start with Cal. But what you're saying, but it does start with Cal. Yes, it has another L, but these three characters are still here. So it does still start with Cal. That's why it's returning false. Hope that clarifies. It's kind of tricky to conceptualize. All right, I think we can start wrapping up. As said, for tomorrow, we will start the palindrome project. And that will be, so bear with me as I scroll. The homework will be to do the rest of the regular expressions exercises. And tomorrow we will start, let me just scroll down past all of these. Here, JavaScript projects and algorithms and data structures projects. And if we expand these, the first one is the palindrome checker. This is the one that we're going to be doing tomorrow. Let me explain a little bit about how I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to very slowly propose my way of solving it. And here's the thing, solving these projects will come in different forms. So just because might be doing it differently from how you do it, doesn't mean that your way is wrong. So much so that after we're done, I would love to invite you to send me your solutions so we can see what the different possibilities are. I will break it down into smaller problems and try to build them up. On Wednesday, that is day after tomorrow, we will do the Roman numeral converter. This is project week. So welcome to project week, folks. And with that, I say thank you all so much for joining me for today's lesson. Hope that it was helpful. As always, the recordings are on YouTube. You will find them through classcentral.com. Here, you will find the cohort, and there you'll find the recordings as well as the lessons. And yeah, remember, folks, ask questions and answer questions, either on the forum, which you see here, or on the Discord channel. The link to the Discord you'll find there as well. So yeah, let's do it. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care now. Bye.